You ready for Uranus going into Gemini? You ready for this full moon happening on Thursday in Capricorn, like pointing to old structures that have come to completion? You ready for Saturn, Father Time, Lord of Karma, to go retrograde on Saturday? That's the big stuff going on this week in the astrology, July 7th to the 13th. I'm going to take us through day by day, the astrology. I'm going to go into those three big hitters that are happening this week. The Uranus and Gemini, the full moon happening, and then Saturn going retrograde. Give us a lot of practices around that, including the Saturn Shakedown. Ooh, I love this practice. It is so good, and it is amazing for bringing insights. I think this is a moment where there's a little bit of fog, a little bit of confusion going on, right? Neptune is really clouding stuff up. And so if you're feeling like you're in a place of chaos, this can also be Uranus in the final little push moving into Gemini. That causes real interesting feels going on in our system, almost like fritzed out, like you're fritzed out, you're fried out, you're like, ah. And then Neptune just turned retrograde a couple days ago on the 4th. Neptune goes retrograde. So that's loud energy of, I'm going to bring down the dreamy, illusionary, disillusionary energy. So you really don't know things and you can't see clearly. So if you're feeling any of this stuff, if you're feeling, what do you call those? Ascension symptoms. I think that's how we're talking about these things now. If you're feeling ascension type symptoms of you're feeling like you're upgrading, but you feel like detoxy, or you're getting headaches, or sleep is weird, this is definitely going on. So I want to give us a lot of practices to work with this moment in time, to give us the clarity. There is clarity here. There is. And I want to point to where that is, what to lean into, right? This is embodied astrology. So this is real tangible. This is like bringing it into the body, bring it into our lives. You don't need to know anything about astrology or even like astrology to get big stuff out of this, because it's very much like psycho-spiritual. It's psychosomatic. It's these parts of self, and we just kind of look outward at the map of the stars to really dive deep into the map of self. So this conversation, ReWilding astrology, embodied astrology, is all about map of self. And so really you can look at this as kind of your own journey inward, kind of your own weekly practice of like, what's hot, what's alive for me. I want you to go through this always. This is a big theme, by the way, for this week, is self, empowerment of self, really taking our power outside of external sources and into ourselves. So taking your power outside of external sources, like listening to me, listening to your partner, listening to other teachers, guides, bosses, people in your life, and really going deep inside. This is very much with this energy. Overall, overarching energy is really pushing us to do this. It is really pushing us to go, me, myself, my sovereignty, my empowerment, my journey inward. What's true for me? What's resonating for me? This is one of the wildest aspects of 2025. It's one of the hardest ones that's going on in 2025. Okay, enough of that. Let's dive into this. Okay, so I'm going to trim our week ahead conversation down to 3 days. Right? 3 days. I'm not going to go day by day because I want to just dive into these 3 days in a deeper way so I can give us more depth in the big stuff instead of surface level every day of the week with kind of fluffy stuff. Big stuff. Monday, Uranus and Gemini. We're going to dive into that in a moment. Thursday, full moon in Capricorn. We're going to dive into that after. And then final piece that we'll really dive into is Saturn going retrograde on Saturday. All right. Here we go. Monday. Uranus moving into Gemini. This is a lot of new freedom seeking, revolutionizing kind of energy. I think the word that we really want to feel into with Uranus moving into Gemini is freedom. And you can reflect on this in your life. Where am I seeking more freedom? This is a great question to journal on, to meditate on, have a conversation with a soul friend on. Where am I really feeling like I need to break out of the box? Where am I really feeling in my life? What area of my life? What relationships in my life? What projects? Where I'm spending my time? What I'm doing with my life? Kind of all areas of life. Really feeling into this is Uranus, what have I already outgrown? And then Uranus starts to bring this need freedom from, right? And sometimes we don't know that we've outgrown it, but we have this feeling of, this is too tight for me now. These are really good markers, really good signposts to feel into this week, especially as we get close to this full moon on Thursday, because the full moon is illuminating all of this. It's a stunning week how all of these are weaving together. So this energy is obviously not just on Monday. This is just the first time Uranus moves into Gemini. He's going to backtrack back into Taurus when he goes retrograde in a few months. And then he'll finally make his full way there in 2026. So this is like giving us glimpses of what it is that we're going to be moving into over the next year. So really over the next year, I really see it from this July to next July. Over the next year, what it is that we're making our way into over the next year. So feel into this. What are you seeking freedom from? What feels too small for you? What do you want to break out of? It's like this visualization of you're a caged bird. Where in your life do you feel like a caged bird? Go through every single relationship. This is a sorting period. It is such a sorting period. It's such a discerning period. So you go through every single area of your life, every relationship of your life, every ritual, every habit, every project, every work, home, health, all the major aspects of life. And you go, where do I feel like I'm not spreading my wings? Where do I feel like I'm a caged bird? Where do I feel like there's more room for me to spread my wings? Where do I want to break out of the box? This is all Uranus energy. What is it that I want to revolutionize? I want to revolutionize the way I relate. I want to revolutionize how I spend my days. I want to revolutionize where I live and the energetics I plug into. I want to revolutionize my body, my health, my aliveness, my well-being. What is it that you want to revolutionize? This is a power question this week. Okay, so Monday, when Uranus moves into Gemini, and again, this isn't just Monday, this flavors the whole week. When Uranus moves into Gemini, he's also conjunct Sedna. So Uranus moves into Gemini, he goes to 0 degrees of Gemini. Sedna's at 1 degree. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. This is a big part of Uranus's shift into the new. His shift into, this is part of this new human, new earth, new you, the new that we're building toward. What Sedna brings to the Uranus shift is Sedna brings depth. So yes, Uranus is going into Gemini, which is air, which could feel more surfacey than Taurus did, because Taurus is real earthy, real grounded. But Taurus will slow that radical revolutionizing new energy down, where Gemini will help it speed up. It helps it go faster. So you revolutionizing will go faster. The way that you think will change more rapidly. The way that your nervous system responds to this current moment and state of the world and what it is that we're moving into with AI, with how, electronicized everything is. Electronicized, that's an interesting new word. But it will allow you, us, me, we to make a shift faster. But Sedna is deep, watery depths. So this is very interesting. Sedna's not going to let it be surface level. Sedna won't let it be surface level, and she won't let it be a half-ass change, a half-ass transformation. Sedna is about full transition from one form to another. She demands it. Sedna is one of the archetypal energies that goes from mortal to immortal. She goes from human to goddess form. This is a complete transformation of self from one form to another. It's complete alchemy. That's what she's demanding. Complete alchemy through some of the deeper, more underworld depths. So what would that mean? Some of your deeper, more hidden, more unconscious depths. That's what Sedna brings us into. Deeper depths of self. So she's not saying this is going to be just a surface level shift. It's not just going to be a mental shift where everyone's like, oh, everything's changing in communication and the mind and education when Uranus goes into Gemini, right? She's saying, yeah, except I'm here, right? As deep goddess of the underworld, deep goddess of radical depth of transformation. It's almost like when you feel into Pluto, right? Pluto demands a death for a rebirth. It's the same with Sedna. It's the same with Sedna. Sedna also has this interesting alignment, which I find very, very fascinating. This interesting alignment with betrayal by the masculine. So it's like the rites of passage that she goes through, right? The rites of passage, the initiation from one form into another demands us facing some deep wounded aspects of self. Some ways that we cling on, get this, cling on to old forms of masculine, old forms of patriarchy that no longer serve. This is highlighted by this full moon in Capricorn. It is all about illuminating full moon, old structures. Capricorn, Saturn goes retrograde, making it louder, the old structures that need to go, the old patriarchy. If you had to pick an archetype in astrology that represents the old patriarchy, right? Top-down authority, shit like that, that would be Saturn. If you had to pick a sign where it would represent that, that would be Capricorn. We have a Capricorn full moon and we have a Saturn going retrograde this week. We have Uranus getting closer to Sedna. Uranus breaking into the new. So breaking into the new. I'm going to break these old paradigms. I'm going to break through. I will bring breakthrough energy. That's Uranus. I'm going to break you out of the ordinary. This is Uranus. I'm going to break you into the extraordinary. Breaking you into, get this, I love this part, going from human to superhuman. Superhuman, like you're becoming superhuman. But we really cling. Sedna clings. She's the archetypal energy that clung onto the side of the boat of her father's boat. And her father was literally had to cut her fingers off. She's clinging on to her old life. She's clinging on to old identities, old life, right? He literally cuts her fingers off. She drowns. To save his life. This is wounding. This is abandonment. This is betrayal. But you're still clinging on to something old that really isn't serving anymore. This is a powerful shadow place to work this week. Really powerful to do some shadow work this week. You can literally hold that little story I just shared there, this little area of life, and you can walk into our shadow work workshop. We have a shadow work workshop. I think it's $47, right? We'll put a link below. I know it's under $100. I think it's under $50. So if you don't know how to do shadow work, and you're like, Sabrina, this sounds great. I really feel like there's something here for me. Shadow work is just about illuminating what's hidden. It's about shifting what's in our depths that we don't know is there. We don't know that we're clinging on. We don't know that we have an old pattern, that we want to stay safe. We want to stay in the known, even if we've outgrown that. Uranus, showing us what we've outgrown, outdated thought patterns, outdated ways of being, outdated unconscious places within self. This is what Sedna's pointing to, is like, I'm not just going to let you get away with surface level what you can see. I am going to bring you into the depths of what you cannot see. I'm going to bring you down deeper, 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 deeper. This would be like doing root chakra work. And we all know when you start going into root chakra and second chakra, like in real powerful ways and getting really real about it, we all know that there's a lot more baggage in the root chakra than there is in the crown chakra. There's a lot more karmic goo that's sitting there. There's a lot more unconscious residue that's holding us back. So this is coming up. It's coming up. They will continue to bring this up. It's just that it's going to be really loud this week because This is Uranus's first move into Gemini on Monday. So interestingly, not only is Uranus moving into Gemini conjunct Sedna, taking him deeper. This is feminine depths, dark goddess. I want to show you what's in the hidden, and I want to transform you here. This is a full death for a rebirth of self. Let go. Stop clinging to the old, right? Shadow work can help you to discover what that is. It also helps you to move through that. That workshop is very powerful for alchemizing that old shit into like really good fuel for the new. Uranus is also conjunct Venus as he moves in. Isn't that interesting? So Venus, right? If Uranus moving into Gemini would be like upper chakras, right? We all know it's air. It's like the mind. It would be like the upper wisdom center. This is your upper wisdom center here. Sedna would be your lower wisdom center. She's like, I will take you into root chakra, second chakra, as you make this move into the new. Venus would be middle wisdom center, your heart. So this transit has all three of these wisdom centers covered. All three of them. Lower wisdom center, Sedna. Middle wisdom center, heart, it's Venus. And then upper wisdom center, that's Uranus going into Gemini. It's Gemini. All three are covered. This is full embodiment. It's full embodiment. So it's demanding a full embodiment of the shift into the new, into the radical, into the revolutionary, into revolutionizing of self. Here's a little tip about Uranus. If we do this consciously, right, we choose to do it. We go forward facing the change, forward facing. We make the time, we make the space to see what the changes are that we need to make. It will be a lot less painful. It's Uranus. Everyone knows who's been conscious of a Uranus transit in their lives. The change is fucking coming, right? Whether you do it consciously or unconsciously, whether you go floating down a raft on the river of change, or you go kicking and screaming, digging in your heels, Uranus is bringing it. He is bringing it. But what we can do is we can avoid the accidents. Uranus is a trickster. We can avoid the accidents. We can avoid the energetics of him maneuvering our physical world so that we make the change. We can avoid the pain. But we want to turn to it. We want to be excited about the change. We want to be open. We want to be curious. We want beginner's mind. This is so supportive to this, right? Be open, be curious, beginner's mind. What is it that's in the change? What is it? Deep truth. That's a really good thing to lean into. What is we got to get sovereign here. Saturn and Neptune are in Aries. This is the other big piece that's going on this week. The moon aspects this. Like all week, this is getting hit. Saturn going retrograde. Neptune just went retrograde. They just got louder, those motherfuckers. And they're in Aries. They're in like the creation points, the 0 points of self, first points of self, your core identity, right? Core identity. This is wild. It is wild how these things are doing this. So that question, here's coming back to that question. I want to just really hammer this piece home. What is it that's true for me? What do you got to do to tap into sovereign, whole, wisdom aligned self? You standing in your power, you standing in your alignment. What do you need to do? Do you need to get away from people? Do you need to go on a fucking walkabout? To be by yourself, to get everybody else's voices out of your head? What do you have to do this week? This is the week. The things that we do this July are very impactful because of this cosmic lineup of where Saturn, Neptune is, where Uranus is, because of this, and Pluto, these 4 big hitters, because of where they're at and where they will be next July. Next July is massive, the lineup that these guys are in, right? But what we do this month will have greater impact than usual. Feel for you what that means and how that translates for you. And if that's something that you want to align with, you can chuck anything in the fucking bucket, right? And I very much encourage you. In this energy, it is very much about sovereign self. What is it that's true for you? What is it that resonates for you? And if you're feeling like, I don't know, Sabrina, that's kind of full of shit, good, chuck it in the fucking bucket. Do not give your power away. Do not let someone else tell you what you should be doing. This whole setup phase, this whole setup right now, and then when these planets go back, because Saturn and Neptune, they're going to go back into Pisces, we're going to lose self again. That's what they're about. Pisces, there's no self in Pisces. You ain't got a self. right? And they're about to go from Aries, where it is all self. You are very much in your sovereign self. You are very connected to you, your truth, your truth, your truth, your truth. Now, the beautiful part is because Neptune's there, it's not your ego truth. It's your soul truth. It's your higher truth. It's your highest self truth. We want to go into that place and make sure we're attuning to high self truth, not little ego self. So when I'm saying the self, the sovereign self, it's not little ego self that I'm pointing to as the greatest thing we can feel into right now. Okay, so this question around what is my truth? What is my truth? What is my truth? What is my truth? What is my truth around this? What is my truth? And what do you have to do to support you finding your truth? Do you have to quiet the outside world? Are there certain practices that take you to your truth? Are there certain people or certain energetic spaces that help you get to your truth? For example, my partner in certain situations, because we all got our stuff, right? We all got our stuff. We are all just walking each other home, right? We are all projecting on each other all the time. We are all playing roles for each other all of the time. But in certain situations, and to learn these things and get very, very clear about them in certain places and in certain times, he can point to a deeper truth in myself than I am sometimes able to see. It is the hardest to see ourselves because you are trying to see yourself through the filter of yourself. It's hard. It's hard. This is why shadow work practice, that shadow work workshop can be because you're being guided into that place. You can let go of that to be guided in, walked right into that territory, right? So that's very powerful, is to create these spaces where we can feel our truth, where we can see ourselves, we can see our path very, very clearly. I moved to the mountains in Nevada, right? High up, 8,000 feet, and there are no houses around me. There is just all like national forest around me. I knew that for 2025, because this is a year of such radical transformation, I knew that I needed that much psychic space. I needed that much clear, I live off grid now. And so I needed that much space, even from electromagnetic fields, that much space from the psyche of the collective, from other people, from that. I really needed that much spaciousness. What do you need? What do you need? And can we prioritize? Can we put ourselves in a place where we're giving ourselves what we need, because it is the greatest gift that we can give the world. You being in your greatness is the greatest gift you can give the world. You being in your highest frequency of love, of joy, you being in your gifting of your unique genius, you gifting of your unique frequency, that is you out into the world, is the greatest thing that we can do. So doing these things, I want to kind of reframe it. It's not selfish. Of course we have responsibilities. Of course, right? I'm not saying this isn't, I'm not I have a dog to look after, right? We have an organization called ReWilding. I happen to be the founder and the head of that. I have a lot of responsibilities. I have a house, bills, all kinds of wild things. I'm not saying that we shake those things off, but we might be revamping those things. We might be shedding some of them. We might be why do I want to say revitalizing? I don't know, that's a really good word for this, is revitalization. It's like the revitalization of the organization of ReWilding, the revitalization of how I pay my bills, the revitalization of how I look after my own body, right? It's like rejuvenation, revitalization. If we don't want to think like revolution, that's Uranus energy, revolution. We can think revitalization, those words can help. Okay, so the reason I keep bringing Saturn and Neptune into this Uranus piece, right? I keep mentioning Saturn and Neptune. They're at the, first and second degrees of Aries. They're going back into Pisces. Neptune's already retrograde. Saturn's going retrograde, is because they're sextile Uranus. This is so interesting. So interesting. It's making this Uranus shift into Gemini, into the new, very much about ourselves. So if we were to just look at Uranus going into Gemini and just hold, Uranus and Gemini, This is moving into air. He's going to be about communication in the mind. We are missing the picture. We are missing the boat. That is 1/8 of what this transit's about. It's 1/8 of what this is about. Because of all these things that I just spoke about, Sedna at 1 degree, conjunct Venus, making it full body shift, right? We want to really lean into body wisdom. We want to activate the fullness of the body wisdom. Work with your upper wisdom center, work with your middle wisdom center, work with your lower wisdom center. Get this whole alignment into the new. The whole alignment wants to move into the new, not just the head, right? Not just the heart, not just the root, the lower wisdom center, not just the first and second chakras want to move. The whole of you wants to move. Really powerful body wisdom activation. If you've not done work with these upper, middle, lower wisdom centers, our workshop Body Wisdom Activation will guide you into that territory also. That's another $47 workshop, right? Just like shadow work. They're really good paired together, by the way. They're super supportive paired together. Sneaky little tip. I think maybe when you go into one or the other and you get to the checkout page, I think there's like a discount, like a 30 or 40% off on the other one. So if you're like, ooh, this feels good, sneaky little discount, go to the checkout page on both of them, see if there's an offer to get body wisdom or shadow work in unison, and you get like both of them then for like $77 or something like that. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I didn't plan on talking about these when I came into this conversation today. I only talked about inviting you into membership because we work with Uranus energy there. So I don't have those numbers with me, but I'm very welcome. You'll find links below and links above to all of these different things to feel into if it feels right for you or if it would be in alignment for you. Again, I really want to emphasize this. It's got to come from alignment from self. It's got to come from inside out. This is a moment of inside out, or we will create from the old. If we're going outside in and we're taking outside forces in, we're taking outside influences in, we're going to create a big old mess. Or we're going to stay longer in the old than we need to, or we'll drag things with us longer than we need to. All right. I think we can shift now. So that's Monday the 7th. I won't talk about Tuesday. There's a little thing going on with Mercury and a semi-sextile to Mars. This, I would just say, maybe don't get caught in ego. We already talked about this. Lean into high self spirit. That's something really good to do, like high wisdom self. When it comes to this sovereign self, I want sovereign, wise self, right? I want true sovereign self. Sometimes we can think of high spirit self. Sometimes we can think of soul self. But that's the self that I really want to tap into and access. And how do you do that? Maybe you have your own practices for that too. If not, there's a 3-part nothing but soul journey in membership. It's a really good piece to come into this sovereign self place, this me, but not little me, not ego me, not false me, right? Soul me. So if you're like, I just can't get aligned, Sabrina, go join membership for a month. You don't have to stay if you don't want to. You're very welcome to. Go do nothing but soul. It will literally help you shed what is false, what is old, what is somebody else's projections coming onto you, and really tap into that still small voice within. We talk about that place and self sometimes as the still small voice within. The still small voice within. What is that saying? What is that saying? And that's what we want to follow this week. Okay, so Wednesday, I know I said I wasn't going to go through these days. I'm just kind of giving you this rundown just in case this serves a little bit. Wednesday, we have the moon square Saturn, Neptune, the moon opposing Jupiter. Moon square Saturn, Neptune. Remember I said Saturn and Neptune are very loud this week. Neptune's just gone retrograde on the 4th. Saturn goes retrograde on the 12th, right? That makes them very loud. When planets go retrograde, they get louder. They turn up the heat. Plus, it's a full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is essentially Saturn energy. So if you put those two, if you were to put a sign with an archetypal energy with a planet, you would put Capricorn and Saturn together, right? Those are the pair. That's the matching energy of the two. Of course, they have little differences, of course, but that energy amplifies Saturnian energy. So we've got Neptune retrograde, Saturn retrograde. We've got a Capricorn full moon. This is really, really, really loud. Moon is squaring them before it gets to that full moon, right? That makes it, again, this sovereign self. We're going to get in trouble when we listen to outside influences that are not in harmony and unison with our sovereign self, right? True sovereign self, high self, because it's Saturn conjunct Neptune, right? Yes, it's in Aries. Aries is very much, could be a trapping of ego, but Neptune's there and Saturn is the karmic. Saturn's karma. This is your karma dharma, sunshine. Like, we are on a soul path here. I am not going to let you get away with ego stuff. It's stunning. It's really stunning. Like, the part of self that they are inviting us to get into. Love this. So then Thursday's the full moon. Let's dive into this full moon energy. So for those of you who've been here for a while and you love these full moon aspects, this is the full moon report, right? Here we go. All right. So it's full moon in Capricorn on July 10th. It's in Capricorn at 18 degrees of Capricorn. You might want to look at where that falls in your birth chart. 18 degrees of Capricorn, where that falls in your birth chart. What does that mean? It's what's being illuminated in your birth chart. It's what is a full moon is shining a light to see something that you maybe didn't see before. Full moons are, I'm shining a light on something that's come to completion. You can kind of feel into Capricorn as also being karmic completion. So I'm shining a light on something that's come to completion, that's come to its ending, that is done, right? It's done. So I'm shining a light on something that's come to completion. Capricorn energy is also, I'm shining a light on something that's come to completion around structures. What structures are ending? It's done, right? It's culmination. These structures in my relationship, this is where you could look at where the full moon falls, because you can look at what house it falls in. Could fall in relationship house, could fall in house of home, could fall in house of work, could fall in house of health. Can be helpful. We have a free, this is totally free, masterclass where you can run your birth chart, and I walk you through exactly how to find that point. It's free to run your birth chart, free to follow this masterclass. I walk you through how to look for the house that this falls in. So if you don't have your chart or don't know how to look this up, find that link below. Again, it's totally free. You just got to listen to like a 60 or 90 minute masterclass, or you can skip through to get to the different points that you're interested in. So feeling into, and even if you don't look at your birth chart, because to me, it's going to hit bigger aspects than just that house. Way bigger aspects than just that house. There's much bigger karmic completion going on with everything else that's going on in the skies. So I would also, if this feels right for you, right? It's all got to come from sovereign self. If this feels right for me, I would also look at meditating on, journaling on, reflecting on. What do I feel is done? Like, stick a fork in it, it's done. This project is done. This way of doing things is done. This way of treating myself is done. This way of overgiving is done. This way of people pleasing is done. This way of, so you don't just think structures in the physical world. You can think the structures you've built your relationships on, you've built your identity on, you've built your responsibilities on. Capricorn's a sign of responsibilities. It's the adulting. Like, shit you've built adulting on. Where are you done adulting? Are there chapters where the responsibility is over? It's over, it's done. You're no longer responsible to maybe your kids in that way. You're treating your kids like they're 5, right? And they're actually like 18. But so it's completed. It's a completion of that way of being responsible for something. For me, it's like ReWilding. There was a way that I was responsible for things, and it's changed. That's karmically completed. That chapter of life, that way of being, it's done, it's over. And I have to honor that. So that's very powerful going on in this full moon. It is crazy loud because of all the other dynamics going on. Uranus and Gemini, Saturn conjunct Neptune, them going retrograde. There's a little yod going on. We'll talk about this. There's South Node. So let's go into the next aspects. Let me feel if there's anything else here. So full moon would be completion. Capricorn would be foundations, structures, would be external authority figures. It's authority figures. It's father figures, patriarchal ways, masculine authority, things like that. The old boys club, old ways of doing things. Like, what is it? And we could get very feisty about this very quickly, right? If we start to play victim or we start to go outside of self too far. What I'm advising, because this is embodied astrology, it's about your journey into your greatness, right? And how to work with all the energetics going on so that it supports you opening up to your greatest, truest, fullest, most joyful fucking life and self. So what to do here and how to work with that energy is, I just see that image of Sedna. If you go back to that Sedna holding onto the boat, right? Like she's holding onto the boat, her father's in the boat and he's chopping her fingers off. Like, you gotta go, sunshine. You gotta let go. You gotta let go of clinging on to maybe trusting. Like, I had a financial advisor, this was a long time ago. I had a financial advisor that was so totally in the old school patriarchy. It was so disgusting, was so gross, right? It was so Saturnian old ways, and it made me comfortable because of the way I grew up, like the old school masculine structures of the way that I grew up. So it was comfortable to me, right? It was like, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. I hate that saying, but it's so good to point at where we are choosing to stay comfortable over choosing to be true, right? I'm choosing to be comfortable. Some of us have created partnerships, friendships, and relationships on the known ways that we related in our family. But we're really being pushed into unknown, something that is more revolutionary, something that is newer and truer. This is the biggest theme that's going on this week, is the old versus the new, is the constant push into the newer and the truer, the constant letting go of the old structures, of the old ways, of the old foundations. This full moon, letting go of the old structures, the old foundations, right? The old, even ways that we externally sourced our power. We externally sourced direction. Saturn's really good at giving directional force. Direction, bosses, really good. Saturnian, right? Saturnian, what is your internal self, internal sovereign, right? This is Saturn and Neptune in Aries again. Self, internal sovereign. Bring it back to self, 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 bring it back to self. That's where the power is at. That's where the new is at. That's where the rewiring is at. That's where you turning superhuman is at. All right. So now, this full moon, we've already talked about the fact that Uranus just went into Gemini, conjunct Sedna, conjunct Venus, right? So that energy is playing out, right? This push into the new while this full moon is happening. So could be illuminating more, not just the letting go of the old, because that's happening, right? Illuminating the letting go of the old. Here's the old to let go, the old structures, the old foundation, blah, blah, blah. We already talked about this. But it could also be illuminating little sparks of what to head toward. Little sparks, little inklings, little insights. Uranus and Gemini, quick flashes of insight, right? They'll be really fast, like lightning bolt. That's Uranus, lightning bolt fast. Lightning, like whoosh, you suddenly quickly get the insight. And Uranus, remember, wants to push you in outside of your comfort zone, outside of the known, outside of the fucking ordinary. He's like, you are not ordinary, you are extraordinary. But I need you to think outside the box. I need you. You are miraculous. The miraculous is constantly happening in the world. This is why Uranus is oftentimes called, like, expect the unexpected. It's not even that it's unexpected. It's just that our frame of reference isn't typically out that far. Our consciousness isn't typically out that far. Most of us haven't been trained. This is what Uranus activations do. So for those of you who are in IX library, you've got all 36 archetypal activations. Do Uranus this week? Do Uranus this week activate this extraordinary territory? This is what Uranus does. Now, not only does Uranus open up this territory, right? This territory of consciousness that we are not usually open to miracles. But if we bring our consciousness, we expand it into the miraculous territory, more miracles will happen because our consciousness is holding miraculous territory. Let me say that again. If you expand your consciousness out into miraculous territory, the non-ordinary becomes the ordinary. The extraordinary becomes the ordinary. The miraculous just becomes daily shit that you see all of the time. I've watched this happen in my life. Things that I used to think, like facilitating workshops, healings that I see happen, like physical fucking healings that I would have thought would be never happen. You know, oh my gosh, I could read about that in a story, right? But to see it is unbelievable. But stuff like that, where and awakenings that I see, sudden shifts, like that someone lets go of something that they've had for their whole fucking life, and boom, in a heartbeat, in a moment, in an instant, it's gone. It's just gone. Gone, this like deep core wound that they've carried forever. It's fucking gone. You can't even remember that it was there. Stuff like that, where you would think it's miraculous. Oh my gosh. Becomes just regular every day. Every time I'm in a retreat, I watch that happen. But it used to be so out there, so, oh my God, I read it in a book and I barely believe it. Oh my God, I used to barely believe that Kundalini awakening was a real thing. I used to barely believe that Kundalini awakening was a real thing. This is crazy. I watch that like every day. Every facilitation of everything I do is an awakening now, right? Like, but I'm not saying it's like, oh, you toot my own horn. Oh my gosh. Blah. Fuck that. That's gross. It's to say what was once so out there and extraordinary and oh my God, unbelievable. There's no fucking way. It's now my consciousness has expanded to that's not even a miracle anymore. That's just like normal every day. But that's what Uranus is wanting us to do in Gemini. Further, for me, it's going to be more. For you, it's going to be more. Whatever our baseline is our baseline. Honor it. It's where you're at. It's where I'm fucking at. Great. Right on time. But Uranus now in Gemini is going to want to expand your consciousness. Bigger, wider, more, air, out there. Get out there. Gemini, dualistic nature. It's like fucking mystic mind, right? Gemini, it's glorious. Like the miraculous, the miracle nature of dualism. The miraculous nature of both and. It's not this or this. It's all of it. That's miracle mind, right? That's miracle mind. It's mystic mind. That's really, it's a gift. It's a huge gift. Uranus is about to open up mystic mind for all of us to the next degree. Next degree, right? The veils are falling down. The unseen is going to be seen in ways that we've never seen it. Your consciousness wants to just whoosh. It wants to just go. It wants to just go. And where consciousness goes, energy flows. The more that we can be conscious of, right? The more that we can be conscious of, the more that we get to create, right? The more that we get to create outside of the ordinary. It's like the blinkers come off, you know, like when racehorses race, they call those things blinkers on the side of their faces. Like the blinkers come off and suddenly you're like, oh my God, this is how reality works. It's really what Uranus wants us to do. This is the nature of reality. And now, because Uranus is a Kundalini awakener, so he awakens our capacity, Kundalini, the feminine form, your body, he touches form. Now it's not just, oh my gosh, I can witness this. It's, oh my gosh, I can create in this. I am this. I have form in this. I create in this. This is stunning. Those of you coming to Australia, we are in for a treat to be working in creation energy with this transit going on, with this huge awakening. Right? And then working with 0 point in this astrology. This 0 point energy is an access point to creation energy. Creation energy is a powerhouse of energy that I'm kind of talking about here in the miraculous, right? In the seemingly what we would think of as miraculous, it's not miraculous. So the shit that you're going to do in your everyday life, it's not even miraculous. It's not even extraordinary. It becomes ordinary. It seems extraordinary now. So there's going to be sacred spiritual gifts that are going to switch on that you never knew. There are going to be psycho-spiritual gifts that are going to switch on. I really, really feel, and I don't have good words for this, but it's like, what are your superpowers? There are superpowers that are coming online, and they are coming in hot. They're coming in fast, and they're coming in furious. And we've got a way where we can attune to them. We can consciously open the door to them, or we can go kicking and screaming and we can fight the shit out of it. Keeping that door closed, like, oh my God, I don't want change. I don't want change. I don't want change. No. I'm going to hold on like Sedna, clinging to the side of the boat when my dad's trying to fucking drown me and he's cut my fingers off to actually let me go through the rites of passage that I'm being asked to go through. For those of you who are really feeling that superhuman, really feeling this, ReWilding is starting this whole new movement called the New Human Movement. It's called the New Human Movement. I didn't know that I was talking about this today either. And what's supporting it are those 36 archetypal activations in the archetype library. That, how I just spoke about Uranus, like that activation, what that opens in you, that's one. There are 35 more. They all activate these parts of self. They all move us. How Sedna moves from human to superhuman, right? She moves from mortal to immortal. It's literally all of these 36 activations shifting you into this bigger, more expanded new version of you with all of these new geniuses coming online, these new sacred spiritual gifts that are going to come online. So if you're wanting a big powerhouse of a journey, that's Archetype IX. It's open. You can join it now. Let me feel into it. I would suggest doing it now for a full fucking year. I know some of you are in it and you're kind of moving through your archetypes, right? If you're not in it, but you're like, I really want something to hold me through this enormous change that's going on, find the link below. It's an investment. It's a mystery school. It is a mystery school. It took me a year to create this. Should take you a year to get through it. It's lifetime access. These archetypal journeys, they are constantly gifting. I've worked with archetypes for 20 years. 20 years I've worked with these things. When I brought them through last year, all 36 of these in this way, they completely rewired my life. They completely rewired my entire system. The things that I see switching on, the ways that I'm able to work with stuff is in that miraculous territory I was talking about. What I thought was miraculous 2 years ago, it's suddenly like, wow, this is a non-thing. This is an everyday experience of these sorts of healings or these sorts of the way that my mind works and my brain works. Never did this before. Never. And it's because I just activated new stuff in myself. It's like activating DNA. It's where it goes to. These activations, they activate aspects of DNA. They activate new energies. They're like codes. It's like coded in you. And it just switches these codes on. It switches these frequencies on. I'm not saying Archetype IX is for you, but find something. If this is resonating with you, the New Human Movement that ReWilding is holding with these archetypes might not be the one for you, right? But if something's vibrating in you, resonating, and you're like, fuck, I get this, figure out what it is. And trust that. It's got to come from within. You follow that soul thread. And if it's join IX, you better damn well join IX, right? Figure it out. Ask us for a payment plan. There is a payment plan on there, right? Figure it out. Like, email us if you need some fucking help. We'll help you out to get into this. If we can, where we can, of course. But if it's not for you, fucking follow that. I mean, it's got to be from that deep internal place, but it's time we stop denying ourselves. It's time we stop denying ourselves the truth. It's not selfish. It's not selfish to invest in your fucking greatness. It's not selfish to invest in you becoming your highest vibrating, most joyful, most love-filled, most alive and aligned self. It's the greatest gift you can give your kids. It's the greatest gift you can give your partner. It's the greatest gift you can give your career, your people, your loved ones, the earth, the planet beneath you, my dog. It's the greatest thing we can give ourselves. So it's this reframing of, I don't want to spend money on myself, or I don't want to make that decision and spend all my time on myself. That feels selfish. Fuck you. That's not selfish. When it comes from that deep internal place of self, that is the greatest thing that we can be doing. I am telling you. Again, if that doesn't resonate and you're pissed off at me, chuck it in the fucking bucket, right? Chuck it in anything I'm saying, anything anyone is saying anywhere. If it doesn't resonate, chuck it in the fucking bucket. But it better damn well be coming from wisdom self, right? Better not be coming from little self who just got triggered. Gotta watch out for that, because there's going to be a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that in the clinging. We're going to make up stories, and we're going to want to hold on, holding on to the side of the boat. We're going to make up stories around stuff. We got really tricky, sneaky little egos that really don't want to let go. They really want to stay comfortable. They really want to stay in the other, like, none of these patterns have worked my whole life. They've been really good survival tactics since I was a little kid. Now you're like 45. It's actually how old I am, by the way. You're like 45 and you're like, oh shit, this is now actually my upper limit. This is now actually totally blocking me from having the greatest relationship in my life, or having the greatest career, or becoming the greatest thing in my life. But I'm sneakily, right? Very sneaky. We're very, very sneaky. So watch that. Watch for that, right? When you're like, oh, that's not for me. Or, oh, that is for me. Or, oh, this shouldn't change. Or, oh, this should stay the same. Is it coming from little self? Sneaky little self? Or is it coming from sovereign, whole wisdom self? And again, if you don't know or have a good way to get into sovereign, whole self, wisdom self, high self, go do that 3-part nothing but soul practices that are sitting in Bones membership. Join for a month, $59. You get 7 hours of workshops, 6-7 hours of workshops. Plus you also get this month's workshop, which I just did on the 1st, and it's all about Uranus. So if you're like, I want this Uranus activation, Sabrina, I really want to do some of this rewiring, go do that in Bones. All right, my gosh, I get fucking fired up. I'm sorry that I'm so in our faces. I just really see the potential of this. I see such enormous, that's why I'm holding what I'm holding, and why all of ReWilding is shifting to really support this new human movement. Like, that's what we're called to do. That's what we're called to do, is let's activate and awaken this fucking magic in all of us, right? These geniuses in us, these capacities in us, because activating them leads to our truest, fullest, most joyful, easeful lives, right? All right, last little piece about this full moon in Capricorn, then we're going to talk about Saturn going retrograde on Saturday, is the moon is trine the south node. So this full moon is at 18 degrees, south node's at 21 degrees of Virgo. Full moon's at Capricorn, obviously. So moon trine south node, what does this mean? This is also just more of the past, right? The nodes of fate are now lit up. So they're lit up by this full moon happening. Nodes of fate. It means that, let me just feel, I want to get us some really good words so it's not just generic, north-south node stuff that I'm spitting out of my mouth. So for this full moon, it really feels like it being a Capricorn full moon illuminating the Capricorn. It's illuminating the karma. Karma is south node, dharma is north node, but really a focus for this full moon on the karmic territory, the south node stuff. So this means not just letting go of old patterns from this life. South node opens up old patterns from ancestral lines, old foundations, old structures, old power dynamics from past lives and ancestral lines. So it's opening up. A really powerful way to work with this is go to your tailbone. You can access that point if you kind of go in there like in a psychosomatic way. You go in there somatically, you go in there energetically, you just like bring all of your consciousness right into your tailbone. Actually, we're going to do the Saturn Shakedown. I promised us this Saturn Shakedown. We'll do this, and we'll do this through the tailbone. And I'll bring that to us in a minute when we get into Saturn going retrograde. But you bring your consciousness right into your tailbone, right? And then you hold the intention. And sometimes it really helps to be guided into this, right? Because you want the juice, you want the Shakti. You don't want to have to like try to guide yourself and whip up a Shakti storm so it actually does something, right? Body wisdom activation can really help you go into that. Hold the intention. Hold the intention of, I'm going to do a Saturn shakedown when you go do that workshop. Hold the intention that you're going to go work South Node past life territory when you go do that workshop, or you go do shadow work workshop. You can hold all of these little things in your intention. Those 2 workshops were designed to take you anywhere and everywhere that you want to hold intentions around. They're really good lifelong workshops to take anything to. And if you've got them, because I know a lot of you already have them, put some of these intentions that really resonated with you into those journeys and go repeat those journeys. It'll be powerful. Leave me a note in the Facebook group. I want to know how those go. I really, really do. Or leave me a note down below this YouTube video in the comments. Let me know how shadow work workshop went for you, or body wisdom, what intention you held, and then what happened for you. Really, I'd love to witness. I would love to hold that witness space for you if you feel to share. Again, from sovereign self, it's got to come from you. Okay, So that's the moon trine the south node, just bringing in more, deeper, past life, ancestral stuff into this new versus old, into illuminating the old, into shedding the old, into taking more steps toward the new. I do want to say this about the new. We are creating the new. I want to remind us we are creating the new. So sometimes I feel like we're sitting back doing some sort of passive bullshit around this new. You know, it's like it's very passive, like, oh, it's just going to happen. I'm just suddenly in the new. I've been like on a magic carpet ride and it just gets me in the, no, it's active. We're creating it. You're creating it with your consciousness. You're creating it with your choices. I'm creating it. Every moment, every word that comes out of my mouth, every fucking thought I'm having, right? Every decision I make, where I'm putting my life force, where I'm putting my energy, my effort, I'm creating the new. I'm creating the new earth. I'm creating the new human, myself. I'm creating the new. It's active. It is not a passive thing. Is not a passive thing. There is no Aladdin magic fucking carpet ride taking us into the new. I don't know where that is coming from, but I'm very much feeling that. Creation Mystery School, right? Creation Mystery School. I know that there are some of you here that are coming on that retreat. There's a couple spots left if you're like, oh my God, I am feeling like there's something here in wielding creation energy. I'm really called to create the new. I feel like I'm one of those who have a blueprint to create the new. Get in. 6 spots or 5 spots left, something like that. I don't know. It depends on when you are watching this, how many spots will be left. But that's happening in September during eclipse season. So not only is it in this 0 point energy, right, where Aries, Neptune, Uranus, they're all like right there going back and forth, holding 0 point. Not only are we there, but we're also in an eclipse season. We all know eclipses are very dharmic, destined time. September's going to be a massive month. Fucking massive. If 6 days creation energy is too much for you, come and do Rewild Your Life in Sydney. It's a 2-day weekend. Come do Rewild Your Life in Sydney. That's on early bird still until the end of the month. So until July 31st, you can get the early bird tickets into Sydney 2-day Rewild Your Life. That's a good weekend. We're not recording it. We're not filming it. It's not virtual. I'm taking it back to like grassroots. Rewilding was founded in Australia. I love Australia. Australia is home of rewilding. I spent 8 years living in Australia. Australia to me is a lot easier to live in than America for many reasons. I'm wildly excited to be going back. I haven't been able to go back since before COVID. So if you're any of my like Australian sisters or brothers and you're like, I just am kind of feeling like it'd be good to do something during eclipse, feel into those 2 Australia events coming up in September. We'll put links down below or you can check those out. All right, let's do this final piece. This got real long. Final piece, Saturn going retrograde. So we've talked a lot about Saturn. I probably won't talk a whole ton more about him. Saturn, I want to do the Saturn Shakedown though, so don't worry, we'll get there. Saturn is Mr. Miyagi. Saturn in his high voltage expression. He's wizened elder. He is Gandalf. He is a wizard. He's a wizard that holds your Akashic records, right? So he's a wizard, Mr. Miyagi, wizened elder, holding your Akashic records. He knows exactly where you've come from, exactly what you're working through, and exactly what potentials are sitting in you, and exactly what's on time, when, where, what, how to deliver the different disciplines, lessons, practices, exercises to get you to the Karate Kid fight where you actually win the dang fight, because it's part of your karma, it's part of your dharma, it's part of what you're here to experience and express in this life. Saturn is a soul point. He's also the point that holds the unmanifested to the manifested, the unseen into the seen. He holds that point. So if you're wanting to work on manifesting's changing, y'all, because Saturn is now in Aries. He's just done a whole reset. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. He's done a whole reset. So everyone will shift in how they've manifested things, how you create things, how you attract things into your world. It's different. It's different. Figure out how it's different. Go do your Saturn work. Saturn's a part of IX. Remember, that's like the big new human movement. That's the 36 archetypes. Saturn's in there. If you're part of IX library, do Saturn. Do Saturn on Saturday when he goes retrograde, because it's loud. Those doors are wide open to work in karma dharma, right? Wide open to setting new structures, to setting new foundations, inner scaffolding. You want to think of Saturn as my inner scaffolding. So here we go. This is our little practice on Saturn. Should you be called to do more? Archetype IX might be for you. Again, come from that true full place in self, right? Like wisdom place, that's where we always make decisions from. Okay, so here we go. A little bit of Saturn Shakedown. I'm standing up. I very much encourage you to stand up because you can move more energy when you stand up. So just give a little bit of a shake off or come back to this practice when you can make some sound and you can do some movement, right? Don't be driving in your car trying to do a Saturn Shakedown. Probably not a good idea. All right, here's what we're going to do super quick. Again, I go deeper into this in the Saturn activation in Archetype IX, in that 36 library of all the archetypes, that mystery school. All right, so you want to visualize your spine as your inner scaffolding. Your skeletal structure, you can visualize, like, close your eyes and you just become the skeleton. You just go right to you as a skeleton, right to that skeletal structure. You see yourself as a skeleton. All you are is bones. This is your inner scaffolding, right? This is your inner scaffolding. So now bring yourself right to your tailbone. You can put the back of your hand against your tailbone and kind of tap a little bit, or just hold it there to sort of help your focus go right to your tailbone. So you just stay right here with your tailbone, wiggle around a little bit. You got to move. We got to move some energy, right? We get to move. We get to work with Shakti, right? Shakti is like the big wisdom energy in our body. It's like the aspect of divine energy or sacred energy that can move into form. That's Shakti. So you want to just like move sacred energy. By the way, if this energy is not awakening you, body wisdom activation wakes it up, right? If you're like, I haven't had a Kundalini awakening, I haven't had a Shakti awakening, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, Sabrina. This stuff's not really alive in me. Go do body wisdom activation, right? Just do it. Just whatever. If you don't like it, fucking send us a note. We'll send you a refund. I think you have 24 hours to check the dang thing out, right? Whatever. Let's go try it. All right. So we got our hand on the base of our spine. We've visualized our skeletal structure. Now breathe right into your tailbone. Visualize energetics going right into your tailbone, right? Like gold threads of illuminating light, of a higher vibration light that goes right into your tailbone. So you visualize this, you breathe this in right through your tailbone and all the way up your spine. Through your tailbone, all the way up your spine. And then you breathe, you move, you sound. These are all rewilding modalities. You learn them in that body wisdom activation, right? Breath, movement, sound moves energy, moves Shakti in a big, big way. Breath, movement, sound, total freedom, visualization, energetic intention, and also touch. Those are the 6 rewilding modalities. Right? And so you let energy start to move. Let energy start to move. Now, that golden light, right? That golden light, that's wisdom energy. That's Shakti. That's the new, right? That's new. That's highest and best. Highest and best. This is a new frequency and it's holding your highest and best, your highest and best, your highest and best, your highest and best. Now, that moving through your bones, all of your skeletal structure, you can let it move up into your scalp. You can let it move down into your arms, down into your hands, down into your feet. Now you kind of want to do a shakedown, right? This is like the Saturn shakedown. Now, with that new vibrating energy inside yourself, this is kind of like Uranian energy, right? But it's Uranian energy holding highest and best, highest and best. It's Shakti, it's Kundalini. Uranus is a Kundalini awakener, right? So it's this new energy and it's moving all through your body. Now, you want to let old structures, old foundations fall, right? So you are holding this new vibration coming through, new frequency coming through simultaneously as Gemini can hold both, right? Uranus is moving into Gemini, simultaneously holds the collapse and the crumbling of the old structures and the old foundations, right? So your skeletal system, all the old structures crumble, 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 like everything, old structures, old foundations, let it go, 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 let it go. Inner scaffolding. Your inner scaffolding gets to crumble. It's done. It's old. We don't need it. It doesn't serve. It's the old ways. It's the old patriarchy. This is us letting go of being Sedna, holding onto the side of the fucking boat of stuff that we don't want to let go. Well, this is known. This is comfortable. I've always known it. So I choose toxic masculine relationships because at least they're familiar to me, right? I choose to be a people pleaser because it's familiar to me and it's worked my whole life. Meanwhile, I am being like swept under the carpet. People are wiping their feet on me all of the time because I have not let that go yet. So just doing it from raw energetic place, you're holding highest and best. And you do it from a raw energetic place. And you just let all that scaffolding crumble. You let all that scaffolding crumble. And then you let yourself be filled with the new frequency, filled with that golden light, just moving through you, these threads, illuminating, awakening, opening, right? Gifting, turning on those sacred spiritual gifts in you. If you want more, come join me in Bones. Go do body wisdom activation. You want to really go for it, do the full fucking mystery school, get all the activations, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all 36, everything I talk about here in all the astrology episodes, go to Archetype IX. I love you all so very much. Happy full moon. Have an awesome fucking week. I'll see you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you. Mwah.